We'll be learning right now how to multiply and divide numbers that are written in a scientific notation. When we were adding and subtracting, I said there was a way as long as your powers of 10, right, had the same exponents. If they did not, I've taught you to do it by rewriting it in a standard form, then add or subtract, and then go back into scientific notation. Multiplication and division is a little bit easier. What you only have to pay attention to is that you will be looking at what are you actually doing with the two scientific notations. If you look in here, we're multiplying, right? So what we will do from now on, we're gonna do something we've been doing for a very long time, since beginning of the school years. And it calls kind of like a combining like terms, right? I know that number 3 and a number 5, right, are my main factors. Then I also know that my powers of 10s, those two belong together, right? Those are like terms. And what are we doing with these two numbers? This is a number, right? 3 times 10 to the negative 5th power. If I was to rewrite it, it will be 0.0003 times whatever this is, right? 0.05. But this is the most important thing. What are we doing? We're multiplying. I'm going to multiply my factors separate, and I'm going to multiply my powers separate. Why am I multiplying? It obviously says in here, multiply, right? So let's write the factors separate. So I have 3 times 5. And then they both have times 10, right? And what are we doing with the powers of 10? We're multiplying. What do we do when we multiply exponents? The exponents, when we're multiplying, multiplication goes hand in hand with addition, right? Really, we are adding the two exponents. I have 10 raised to the negative 5th power, right? Times 10 raised to the negative 2nd power. If you remember a couple sections ago, we were saying that when we're multiplying exponents, we're really adding them. So I have negative 5, and remember we go left to right, plus negative 2. Let's solve it. 3 times 5 is 15 times 10 raised to which power? Minus 5 plus negative 7, or negative 5 plus negative 2, is equal to negative 7. Is this written in a scientific notation? No, it's not. Remember, there has to be a decimal point after the first counting number, right? The first counting number is over here, is that 1. So I have to put the decimal point in there, correct? That means at this point, the decimal point is after the 5. What I have to do is, if I am moving decimal point, right, to the left, that is one thing you have to remember. If you're moving decimal point to the left, you're really adding in here. Adding how many places you are moving. We're moving 1 decimal point, right? 1 decimal place. So my answer is 1.5 times 10. Negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. If this section in here confuses you when you have to still write this in a scientific notation, and when we were moving it and then we're adding in here, please do me a favor, or do yourselves a favor. Maybe what you can do is rewrite it. So what you have, it was 15 times 10 to the negative 7th power, right? So we were moving that decimal point 7 places, really is negative 7, right? So we had to move it 7 places to the left to make it smaller. So we had 15, and if I was to move the decimal point 7 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? I know the decimal point has to be in here. Then I would like for you to maybe count the places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I want it over here, right? So it will be 6. Figure out ways that will suit you the most to rewrite it in a proper scientific notation. Let's see what will happen if we were to be dividing. We will be doing the same thing. We have to combine like terms, right? So we have 1.5 times 10 to the negative 8th power, which is a scientific notation. Fraction is a division divided by 6 times 10 to the 7th power, right? So what do? We have to do them separate. We're going to be dividing 1.5 divided by 6 and 10 to the negative 8th power divided by 10 to the 7th power. Let's see how it looks like in action. Separate, right? So 1.5 divided by 6 times, right? They both have a power of 10. One is 10 to the negative 8th. The other one is 10 to the 7th. In your calculator, you will do 1.5 divided by 6, which is 0.25 times 10 to the which power? What do we do with the exponents when we're dividing? When we were multiplying, we're adding them. When we're dividing, we are subtracting them. So what do we have is negative 8 minus 7. I have 0.25 times 10, and what is negative 8 minus 7? Remember, I have negative 8 and I'm taking 7 away, so I'm going to the left, right? So it's going to be negative 15. Then I'm going to look and I'm going to say, all right, well, is my decimal point after the first counting number? No, it's not. It's after 0. The decimal point has to be over here, so I know I have to move it. If I move it to the right, I will be subtracting the one place I'm moving. I will be subtracting it over here. So it's going to be minus 1. So the answer will be 2.5 times 10. Negative 15 minus 1 is negative 16. Here is the answer. Please remember that if you get lost or confused over here, and you will be left with this, and you knew that the decimal point really has to be after the 2, and you didn't know what you're going to do over here with the exponent that is by the power, please do rewrite it. So if I have negative 15th power, I'm taking this decimal point 15 places to the left, right? So I'm going to start probably over here. I have 0.25, 15 places is negative, so this has to be getting smaller, so it means I'm going to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my goodness. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? The decimal point has to be over here. And I know I want the decimal point to be over here, correct? So what do? Well, this is 15, and then I go one more, right? So it's 16 places. So the answer is 2.5 times 10. And how many places did we move it? The number was smaller than 1. I know it's negative, and we said we were moving in 16 places. Again, you pick the way and the method that suits you the best. Sounds good? All right.